we've got some excitement going on today. This is an overview of this dev diary that happened. Um, my brain dead. This happened this morning, early this morning. I've just been, focused on other things, so I just getting this out late. Um, so this is them talking about what's happened between the Steam beta last October and this current beta coming September 19th. And boy, is this kind of a doozy. So first thing first, like I said in my last video about First Descendant, I was very disappointed in how radio silent they went. But after watching this morning, as I was, getting up and doing things, it made almost complete sense. Like I think they could have fed us like tidbits of information, but it makes sense why they didn't do that, but it also doesn't to me. Um, so for starters, one of my biggest complaints about the beta, the grappling system. The grappling hook system was one of my biggest problems with the Steam beta. It was janky, its targeting wasn't the best, it made it really hard to move, and the worst part about the game was you couldn't mantle. You couldn't pull yourself up if you didn't get the edge. So you had sometimes, I'd be trying to climb an area and I'd miss 2 or 3 times because it didn't yank me up high enough. So I'd have to, yank. It was really fucking annoying. Anyway, so one of the things that they did is they actually transitioned it from its more linear mode to the more 3D mode that they actually promote in some of the original trailers. They showed you, grabbing things and swinging around to land on the back of the Titans so that you could rip materials off to make them have a bigger weak spot. And I'm happy for that. They also added vaulting and mantling so you can jump over things and, grab that dreaded ledge if you manage to not get it with it. Other things they did, and I find this very, very interesting, and I love it. I always love when a game goes in and redoes their intro, especially if it leans more into lore. Warframe did this, and I loved how they changed the intro scene. And that's what they did, is they completely changed the intro. The intro for the Steam beta was you woke up in a big explosion, like some sort of raid or something, and you had to sneak/fight your way out. And you ended up, I think you ended up seeing the big bad and then having to escape. Funnily enough, this is actually the part that they're showing and talking about, is the fact that they reworked the opening. You now start in a sort of dungeon you're exploring, and you have to get through things. And I think they're actually adding stories to more fleshed out stories. The game now starts in a dungeon atmosphere. And you're exploring, and it becomes an oh shit moment. Like, I love it. Awesome. They also designed a new area, or more areas, I should say. And when you start, you actually start in a separate, or it actually leads to a secondary area really quickly. And it's an area that we weren't able to access in the beta, and I love that. They have told us that there will be 15 Descendants available at launch, 4 of which have not been showcased, which makes me hopeful. And they are unconventional designs as far as their abilities goes, which really interests me. There will also be 5 ultimates. This is effectively Warframe versus Prime Warframe stuff. In the Steam beta, they only had one. It was for Ajax. I never played with it. I never pulled that out. I was able to play with every character and see who I liked and who I didn't. But I didn't pull out Ultimate Ajax because I didn't see the point. I wanted to, play with the ones I liked, and I ended up really liking Freya. And so when they showed off the 2 new descendants that they promoted, the water and the magnetic one, we saw 3 ultimates, the 3 starters. No, it wasn't Ajax. It was the grenade starter. My bad. And they've also shown off 2 ultimate weapons. A pistol, this one exactly, where you get stacks of patience when you get kills, and after 5 you gain 5 stacks, you gain a stun effect on your next shot, it seems. Then this shotgun, smithereens, unconditional crit hits. Wow, that's interesting. That'll be fun to play with. Like, I'm actually a very close range player, so shotguns are one of the things I actually go to. My hope is that they give us more on the business model. At least we get a taste of the business model during the beta. The crossplay beta that comes out next month. Or they at least show us some of it. One of my issues with Warframe, I'm a long-time Warframe player. I've been playing it for what is it, 8 years now? 8.5 years? It's been a long time. And my biggest problem has always been not timers, but also not timers. I don't have a problem with the weapon timers being 12 to 24 hours. I actually like that. I don't like the final Warframe build being 3 days. And I hope that while the system is similar, or at least it was in the Steam beta, I really hope that they don't have 3-day timers. Because I really, having 12 hours, 6 to 12 hours for pieces, and then the full build be 12 to 24 hours, or maybe 24 to 36, that I think would be ideal. I was talking with my brother about this, and he's like, yeah, I don't like it that I didn't like Warframe's timers, and I hope they don't do that, because for casual players that can only do, maybe a couple hours a day at best, because, they have families, jobs, and whatnot. It'll make it harder for them to get things done, just because it's so hard. These are some actual big things that I am appreciative that they've come out and gone, we're doing skins, because people requested it. We reworked the grappling system. We redid the starting sequence. And in the closed beta, in the crossplay beta, they will have a new starting area. I hope that they do have this out within the next, November-ish, December latest. But it looks like they're going to wait and deliberate after the open beta to see what people want. They also plan, this is my favorite part, they also plan on dropping dungeons and raid dungeons. I think they said dungeon and dungeon raids or something, but I am so happy with that. I play the crap out of Diablo. And I would slam Destiny 2 dungeons if I was better, and I could solo them. Like, I would hit them over and over and over again, farming stuff from them. I thoroughly love the challenge of Nightmare Dungeons in Diablo 3, and I honestly don't mind jumping from dungeon to dungeon to do leveling and other stuff. However, one thing they've also said is no plans for PvP at this time. I love that. One of the things that I loved about Anthem and I love about Warframe is the absence or near absence of PvP. Warframe has PvP. It's called Conclave. However, it takes forever to get a match because nobody cares. The whole game is PvE with a little bit of PvP on the side for those that want it. Don't get me wrong. Warframe's PvP is terribly well balanced. It's awesome. It's so good. There are certain the more OP weapons that you can use to nuke entire bosses don't exist for their PvP. You can't use them. And some abilities are altered when you go into Conclave, which is I love it. I love it. But Anthem, no PvP at all. And they were right at the get-go. They're like, there will be no PvP. We plan no PvP, and there will never be PvP. And I loved it. I loved it. But yeah, like, that's pretty much everything that's going on there. I really am excited for this game. I was excited and interested when it was announced. It was announced as Project Magnum. And it looked very interesting. Of course, when games are announced like that, like Project Magnum was back in the day, they change drastically. They change drastically by the time they get an actual title, a true proper name. This one ended up being called The First Descendant. Like, when it went from Project Magnum to First Descendant, at first, I didn't even recognize that it was Project Magnum. But then, I saw it, and I was like, oh, wait a second. And so I expected, that's the type of thing I expect. I expect massive changes from when it's announced to when it's to when it is given a true name, to when betas hit, especially when they're gameplay betas and they aren't close to set release. And then, you know, like when the Steam beta ended, I expected changes. I expected changes, especially because there was no even tentative release date, if I remember correctly. It was either there was none or they planned it by end of year, because they thought they just needed to polish some things. I felt like it just needed some polish. I do deeply agree with people that the grappling system needed to be a drastic overhaul, which apparently it got. But you know, I felt like, you know, if it released, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But seeing that they went radio silent to heavily turn their focus into the development of certain aspects and giving them what looks like an almost complete breakdown and rebuild of the system, that pleases me. I just wish there had been slight more transparency, or at least they had showed us like concept designs or stuff like that, like little tidbits to keep us, you know, on the line. But does what happens. One thing I forgot to mention is they're going to do this module system, which will allow you to alter how your abilities work, and apparently, as they were just mentioning, alter how your melees work, which I find very interesting, and I can't wait to try out. Whether that is in the crossplay beta or that is in the game later, I don't care. I just want to try all this stuff out. I get really excited for these types of games, and I can't wait. Um, I will be covering this game. This is what I'll be covering. I will be starting to try to make Diablo 4 videos, and I will probably do some videos about some newer offline games. But we shall see what happens in the future. Right now, I am switching to focus on YouTube edits for a bit. I will try to do streams at least once a week. This week was an off week, so it didn't have a stream, but we will see what schedules become and what types of things happens. But I do hope that you will come visit me and enjoy this game with me. As always, when I am playing games like this, I will gladly invite community members to come play with me. I have no problem helping people out. It's my favorite thing to do. I love helping people get to the point where they can do the big stuff. And I will potentially host events for like dungeon runs or raid dungeon runs and stuff like that for this game. But we shall see what the future brings, and I really, really hope this game prospers. Anthem, I am disappointed in, because Anthem 2.0 would have revitalized the game and it would have been reborn like a phoenix. But it is what it is. So, I shall talk to you all later, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.